I have chosen this dramatic angle to open up my new video about the cutters because it is like a very frustrating and sad day in the world of Pazzles Silhouette Viewville. Of course, you know, it would help, I guess, if I did the angle where you can actually see my face, see my tears. You see my tears. Actually, I'm not very happy at all, but it's been, I looked it up in my account. It has been 12 long months of agony with this machine. And 2 days ago, it did the last thing it was going to do to drive me nuts. It stopped working. Interestingly, the warranty literally just ran out. I don't know if it was the day the warranty ran out, but it's gone. It was running and I put it up and then I took it down because there's a new charm I've been working on. I'll give you a preview of this charm. It's raccoons. And I have worked very hard to perfect the technique of printing double-sided on the shrink film. And it was hard. I managed to do it. I've got it just about perfect. And I took the view down to cut because it is my last working cutter, or it was my last working cutter in the house because none of the others have lasted a year either. And it would not work. To sum it up, it acts like the motherboard just went kaput, which, the day the month or week the warranty runs out, motherboard goes kaput. I'm a suspicious person, but you need to make your own conclusions. So unfortunately, this is the end. I'm still going to be paying 12 more months for this POS, guys, to just put out another thing about the Pazzles company and my experience with them for you to learn from. We did indeed get a hold of tech support today. That's how we know the warranty literally just ran out, by the way. I thought, you would think paying on it for 2 years, the warranty would last 2 years. No. And they were nice. They worked with my husband for a while. And I forgot to get a prop that I need to tell you about, so let me go over here and get this prop. But they worked with my husband, tried to troubleshoot. And of course, does the guy run through the troubleshoot steps with my husband? No. No, he insists on going into my computer and basically invading my privacy and going into my computer. They're always like that, and I've never liked that at all. It really bothers me that they have to backdoor into my system. And he's he looks at the latest of this page for the Heavenly Bride for a second and paused. It was a page where one of the students had been mauled to death by a feral creature. So I guess the gore of that page. Whoops. But anyway, I was working on getting book 2 out for 3 days now, so there's stuff on the desktop for I've been working. But anyway, and then he's going through all the stuff, and of course it's refusing to work for him too, and he goes through all the steps we had already done and did all the things, uninstalled, reinstalled, you name it. So then he goes to do Windows Update. Now, we literally just reinstalled a new brain into this computer yesterday. I knew that my main hard drive was failing. And I mean, it was to the point that fonts were disappearing off my. So we put in a new brain, and we thought that would fix the Pazzles, and it did not. And so he goes to do Windows Updates. I don't want Windows Updates going, period. I just don't. Every time I end up doing Windows Updates or Flash updates, something breaks on my computer, and I have nothing but problems ever since. And I just really hate being forced to do these constant updates. They're for better security, and it's yeah, security against me being able to use the system. And so we're no, you don't be updating our Windows updates. Besides, being it was a fresh install, we would have been waiting 24 hours to be able to work on the Pazzles again. And so the the tech asks me if I'm using a valid copy of Windows. And now I realize a lot of people steal stuff or whatever, borrow them or whatever. I've had hard times many, many years ago. I know. But still, that is the wrong assumption. Why are you asking me if my Windows is valid? Who the are you? You're not no freaking Microsoft agent. You're somebody who's supposed to be troubleshooting your broken POS that you guys mailed to me broken. So he's like, well, but he was nice. He's like, well, you know, your warranty just ran out, but I'm not going to charge you a fee for this. And it's like, thank you. But he's like, but you're going to have to run Windows updates. If you run the Windows updates, then it'll work. So I ran the Windows updates, and no, it doesn't work. I mean, this is stupid as crap. I mean, he did manage to get it to update its firmware, but any help from the Pazzles company is just no. No. It looks like I do not have a cutter. I'm beside myself with concern, actually. I'm past anger because, you know, my resolution to never buy another Pazzles again is very, very resolute at this point because I'm going to be paying 12 more months for this piece of crap that now doesn't work. And, okay, fine. But I'm concerned because I have a an anime convention that I'll be making an appearance at in just like less than a month. And they even featured me on their Facebook today. And I was going to have these lovely raccoons. And now I can't. I could cut them by hand, I suppose. But the whole point of me getting a cutter is the fact that my hands are tired from literally doing stuff since I was like 7. All the time. And, but the reason why I discovered my Pazzles was broken is, you see, I had made it a point to color the raccoons so that I could show you how to do a print and cut with your stinking Pazzles when it is one of the broken ones that does not do print and cut. I had figured it out. So, you don't need the Pazzles. Well, let me just start with getting the mat. Okay, I have the mat. By the way, somebody had asked, yes, you can use other mats. They do need to be 12 or 4, inches wide. I mean, you can do smaller mats. I have used a Cricut mat, the 8.5 by 11 one, quite a few times over the year. When I was just cutting regular shapes, you can move the rollers so that the mat will stay. See, don't see the rollers. I don't know if I can see them right there. But I don't recommend it, even though I've done it. If you have your black and white mat, use your black and white mat. The eye on the Pazzles, even when it's broken, will be looking for that black and white pattern. And that black and white pattern tells it where it's at. I don't know how it calculates, but, it's using triangulation and math, okay? So when it comes to doing a print and cut with a Pazzles that's a piece of crap, like mine. Okay, I have tried it with the black side up and the white side up. You can see where I've actually made some successful cuts. And what you do is you take your thing, and I was using SureCuts a Lot 4, and you're going to place it to the far right, up against here. In fact, there's a little arrow that says, what does it say? Cover, it's all blurred out on mine, but cover it basically. And you want to get your paper aligned as perfectly as you can to the fine lines that outline the edge of the grid. With SureCuts a Lot, I would do my shapes, and then I would tell it, go ahead and do 12 by 12. And the reason why I did that is it would lay out the grid so I'd know exactly, and I was using the grid to triangulate exactly where the paper went. And I finally just realized that if I don't move the shapes, and I have it like, if I kept my paper 8.5 by 11, then it would cut here, because that's what it's triangulating, is from basically here over, not from here over. If you try over here, you're going to get cuts in the middle of nowhere. So you want it like, I'm going to go ahead and place it, but you want to try to get it as perfect as you can on the lines. So I'm placing it. I'm not very, well, I'm not going to try. It's not like I can cut it right, but you want it to look something like that. Okay? And then when you place it into the Pazzles, okay, you can see where I had to do a popsicle stick because it was broken from like day one. But I try to make it where it's a square and the mat is as level up and perfect as possible. I push it nice and tight and make sure it's nice and even. No wrinkles, no nothing like that. Now you see how it's like looking. But if it's going in, if the mat's pulling in, you know how sometimes the mat won't pull proper and it'll be like a little askew? Pull it back out and realign it again. You want it as lined as perfect as possible. And then you don't do the print and cut menu, you just tell it to cut. And I found that it wasn't always perfect, but I was getting the shapes good enough that I liked it. And I had only just figured this out for one small run of 6 shapes about 2 months ago, and then I put it up because I had things to do and found out 2 days ago that my Pazzles was broken. That's how frequently I use this Pazzles, guys. Every couple of months at best. You know, you hear people talk about how they use their Pazzles all the time and they really love it. Yeah, good for them. Lucky guys. I didn't use my Pazzles all the time. Yay! I used the silhouette more than I used the Pazzles. So it's really frustrating and sad and disheartening. But I hope that this tip helps those of you who are having print and cut problems the way I have been having. One more thing. There's a lot of stuff out there about how to clean and redo your mat. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, your mat can lose its sticky, and you need that sticky. But you don't want it to be too sticky, you know, because then the paper rips when you're trying to get it off. But let's say that it's time to restick your mat. You basically wash it and get it clean. And then you, well, I won't go through the whole process, but you're basically going to run stuff along the edges, painter's tape, and then you're going to take Easy Tack. Easy Tack. Don't use temporary glue. You're going to ruin your mat. Ruin your mat. Easy Tack, and you spray a new layer of stick. Boom. Your mat's good for a while again. Right. One method of cleaning your mat, because sometimes soap and water doesn't work, is people use Goo Gone. With the Pazzles mats, don't do that. Do not do that. I ruined my first Pazzles mat because I didn't know, and the Goo Gone actually made all of the black and white come off the mat and thinned up the mat too. Cricut can handle it, Silhouette can handle it, Pazzles cannot. So you only want to wash your mat gently with like soap and, you know, something like Dawn, you know, or something gentle like that, a Woolite, you know. And I hope these tips help you. Sadly, when it comes to cutters, this might be one of my last comments for a long while, because I don't have the hundreds of dollars it takes to replace the cutter. I have been taken for a ride with the Black Cat used sale, and that took what I was saving, and just, you know, just to sum it up, yeah, I could hold a fundraiser, I suppose. Ha ha ha, right? If anybody has a used cutter that will cut shrinky dinks that wants to mail to me, I will give you my PMB. But anyway, I hope this information helps you guys. I'm going to sign off now.